Welcome to Toronto, Canada's largest city and an eclectic mix of different sceneries, cultures, and activities. I'm here for the first time and will be spending the day exploring this vibrant metropolis. I'm sharing my honest first impressions in this video, some of which might shock you. So let's start exploring Toronto. My first stop here is the main square, which is very big, buzzing, full of energy, people, families, fountains, screens, and everything in between. It's got Shibuya Crossing vibes to it, but on a much smaller scale. I think this is a great introduction for a day in Toronto, and from here it's actually a very short Uber ride to my next stop. The Uber has dropped me off in St. Lawrence Market, which is the oldest market here. It's over 200 years old, and it's primarily a food market. Well, I asked the locals if the queue was really worth it. They said yes. So, got myself a bagel with cheese and spinach inside. Let's see if the locals were right. This is like a softer version of a Monegasque barbajram with some sesame on it. It's really good. I think it would be even better if it was warmed up, so I should have probably asked for that. But yeah, this is good. I decided to walk away from that area towards the water just to see what I would find, and what I found, surprisingly enough, was a man-made beach. Totally empty today, but wow! This is definitely a surprise to me. Funnily enough, the sand quality here is better than the beaches in Monaco. That says something, doesn't it? But aside from unexpected beaches, I've also encountered countless parks and perfectly manicured green areas, even in the middle of the hustle and bustle of the city. This is exactly what I mean when I say that Toronto is full of tiny little gardens just hidden away amongst bigger, noisier streets. We are on King Street now, which is the hub for bars, nightlife, and entertainment in the city. Now is probably not the best time to explore it because it is the first half of the day, meaning that King Street is still relatively empty. But come here by night and things will look very different indeed. In this zone, I also noticed a huge amount of construction and unfortunately some homelessness. But this improves as you head further west to Queen Street. I'm starting to explore Queen Street now, which is less about bars and more about shopping. And there's two sides to Queen Street, and one side is like very small, quaint, independent little shops, and the other side, which is the side that I did not expect, is a little bit shabbier but more commercial, I guess. So I'm gonna show you the difference between the two sides, and after that we're gonna go on and see something that Toronto is actually very famous for. But first, I wanted to show you some creative and incredibly photogenic spots around Queen Street. Toronto is celebrated for its diverse art scene, and you'll be reminded of this wherever you go. My highlight was Graffitti Alley, known for its vibrant street art and impressive murals. I spent a good 20 minutes just admiring this tiny alley. Decided to take the subway here just to see what that's like. So far, it reminds me of the London Underground. You can pay with contactless. That's already good news because I don't actually have any Canadian dollars on me. That subway was very easy to use, and the best part is that it only cost $1, so very good. I'm walking through more construction now to get to the Royal Ontario Museum. This is very famous. It is a huge natural history museum and actually the biggest one in all of Canada. So we're gonna go in, check it out. Not gonna spend a huge amount of time there, but just enough to give me a rough idea of why it's so well known all around the world. A very short walk away from the Royal Ontario Museum, there's an area called Yorkville. Yorkville is very popular during the Toronto Film Festival. It's considered like a upscale residential and commercial area. I personally have fallen in love with it the moment I saw it. It's really cute, really quaint, colorful, moves away from the hustle and bustle and noise of the main areas of Toronto and the big streets. Here I find it's just so nice to walk around, take it all in, maybe sit down in a cafe, do some shopping. This is my favorite area of Toronto so far. This makes me so happy. Toronto in general is a very dog-friendly city from what I can see, and I don't know if you guys knew, but that comes up very high on my list of important things to look out for whenever I travel to any new city. So yeah, Toronto's scoring very high on that mark right now. The famous CN Tower. I'm gonna walk all around to the waterfront now, to the other side, see what we can find there, and then from there I'll be heading out to dinner. One thing that you will notice when you come here is that it smells of weed everywhere, and that's because cannabis is actually legal in Canada, both for recreational and for medicinal purposes. I didn't know this before coming here, so the moment I stepped off the plane I was like but yeah, now I know. Made it to the water. This is Lake Ontario. Canada is full of really large lakes, this being one of them. So actually Niagara Falls is on the other side of this lake, and it's unfortunate that I'm only here for such a short time. I want to actually get to see the Niagara Falls, but hopefully next time. Also, take a look at that. I gotta say, I really like this area a lot. I think this waterfront area plus Yorkville, those are the two zones that I would focus on if I were to ever come back to Toronto. Toronto is obviously so much more than what you can see in a day, but I have higher expectations for my trip to Vancouver and my trip to Montreal as well. If that comes to be better than Toronto, I don't know. You'll have to find out, and you can do that by subscribing to this channel and then getting a notification as soon as those videos go live. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed this vlog, and now it's time for my dinner, so I guess I'll have to see you next time in Vancouver.